Hello, welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Ross Merriam. Today I am playing a deck that barely missed the cut at U.S. Nationals last weekend. This is Red-White Approach, played by, oh wait, I forgot the name already, Adam Bielkowski. Um, it plays Sunbird's Invocation, which is a sort of strange enchantment that lets you double cast Approach of the Second Sun, curves very nicely with it, and tries to turn it into more of a mid-range deck with a combo finish, which I think is kind of cool. Sunbird's Invocation is also just a fine value card if you try to play this attrition game. Unfortunately, the hand that we have is not going to work with only one land, so I'm going to mulligan this one. And now all the lands are in this hand. You know, I'm going to mulligan this one as well. I don't really see this panning out. And back to one land. I guess we can try to hit some lands with this one. Not a good start. Oof. All our stuff is pretty expensive. We've got basic mountain when we're trying to cast Gideon. At least there's a plains on top. What did my opponent do with their scry? They mulled a 6 and scry to the bottom, so hopefully they are not too fast out of the gates here. Irrigated farmland. That is not suggesting of a fast deck. But still might be that as the control deck can just get out ahead of us here and start drawing cards and get up a counter shield. Desert of the Indomitable. Huh. Is this like a cycling deck? Well, I'm going to cycle first, so I hope they like that. No third land. I'm going to cycle this main phase in case I hit an ETB tapped land. And I did, getting paid off. So we are going to be able to play Gideon on time here, which is pretty nice. Excuse me. Now we'll get an idea of what is going on here. Oh, a vamped ramp deck. Okay, so they're playing the deserts for the 5-mana ramp spell that makes zombies. This makes a lot more sense now. Does mean these settle the wreckages are probably a little bit better if they can handle some of the high-end threats in the ramp deck. Bam. I don't really think the emblem on Gideon is relevant. I'd rather just get its loyalty higher. It's likely that Gideon is going to die for them to win anyway. What is this? This could be our promise. No? Nothing? Okay. Yeah, here is our promise. Well, pretty good 6 from our opponent, curving gift into our. That's about exactly what these ramp decks want to do. We have to 7 mana here, 8 with a land drop next turn. And I have to... the good news is I do have answers to these zombies. I can abrade one and start plussing one Gideon on the other. Now that I have settle available next turn, it's possible I want to abrade and attack with Gideon just to get some damage in and start pressuring them. If they play another threat to pressure the Gideon, then I can plus on it and settle. Yeah, I think I'll take the opportunity to get some damage in. This one. And hope whatever they have here is not too devastating. It's going to be a while before we win this game. Okay. It's going to be a little awkward trying to set up Settle the Wreckage with Gideon in play, but we'll probably be okay. Okay, another gift. If they flood, that's very good. Okay, nothing of note. So I can now Ixalan's Binding the zombie, but I think I'd rather do that on an actual threat, so the second ability of Ixalan's Binding comes into play. So let's just attack for 4 again, induce the attack, and settle the zombie away. At this point, giving them a land doesn't matter much. A lot of Ipnu rivulets. Just seems kind of strange. Why would they choose the blue desert? Is there a need for blue mana? Why would they want to mill themselves? Choose you. Hope this resolves. I guess they could have counter spells of some kind. That would be bad, but yeah, looks like that might be happening. Okay, our ramp opponent has Supreme Will in their deck. So we're losing our Gideon. I did think about that potentiality, but I also didn't think Gideon was that important for me to want to spend a ton of time on it. I now do have 2 approaches, so if I can just make land drops here, they will win the game. So 3 land drops away. I'll take a few hits from this zombie, hoping to extract a bit more value out of Settle the Wreckage. I am at 20, so not too concerned about my life total just yet. And there's a land, 1 step closer. I guess these approaches could get Supreme Willed, at least the second one could, but then I'll still have some inevitability from drawing the first copy. And there's a desert that does a little bit more. Chefet Dunes. Doesn't really do anything right here, but maybe at some point. Looks like our ramp opponent has fallen prey to the classic conundrum of just drawing too many lands. See if the Chandra resolves. If it does, it'll get us the rest of the way to approach. Do I want to -3 on the zombie token? Sure. Why not? Looks like our opponent doesn't really have anything going on. I guess their Ipnu Rivulets can disrupt the other copies of Approach. That is something that they can do. Oh no! They do have an answer to my Chandra, or at least I guess they drew one of it. I imagine they would have played that on the end step if they had it then. But I can't Ixalan's Binding the cast out, which I believe I will do. Yeah. And tag that. Get our Chandra back. Let's, I guess, take the opportunity to deal them 2 damage. Reveal the ETB tap land. Play this, and now even if they have another answer for Chandra, I'm only 1 mana away from these approaches. I'm under no pressure. I have a settle in case they find a threat. Okay, well, they'll be able to draw 2 cards off of Mind here, which is not bad. They'll still have 3 mana left over to work with. It's fine. I'm on 6, so well away from being able to cast Approach through Supreme Will, but Okay, cycling. So I doubt they have Supreme Will if they're willing to cycle in the main phase. So that's good. Only 2 cards. And let's make some mana. And even if they have a bunch of counter spells for these approaches, they're going to have to deal with Chandra. So a lot of things they have to answer and not many cards with which to answer them. And now I have another Ixalan's Binding, which can essentially deal with anything. What are your last 2 cards? Looks like they finally found a threat, but a little bit too late on that one. They have so much mana. 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15. They could cast Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Yeah, now even more than that. Up to 17 mana. Although, it is not the worst. If they have a counterspell for this second approach, they can prevent Chandra from ultimating, but they can't exactly kill it, and then I can defend it with Settle next turn. It's still going to be a problem for them. Interesting. Do I just go for the kill, or do I play Gideon plus Settle? Sort of leave them further and further behind. Given that they didn't have Supreme Will last turn, I just have 1 turn to draw it in. If I play Gideon plus on one of the zombies after making mana with Chandra, then they attack with the other one, I settle, they're forced to Supreme Will it to not die to the Chandra emblem. And then I untap and approach them. They would have to have multiple good things. Cast out's not an out, they can't cast it. Seems like the better line. Just forces them to have even more answers. So I'll play that. It's plus on a zombie. And pass the turn. We'll likely see... thought we would see some Rivulite activations there just to take that option away from me while nothing else is going on. I can just throw away 2 of them at this point. They have 17 lands, 17 mana. I'm sure I'll get punished for this somehow, but... nope. They do find a basic, not surprised. And I guess I can still go for the win and then next turn Chandra Emblem with while leaving it in play. So let's do that. Do you have the counter spell? Nope. Never had it. Gave them an extra turn, but I think it was reasonable to do so. So, playing against a ramp deck. How do I want to sideboard? I think the cheap removal is pretty bad. There's sort of a transformational sideboard plan with a bunch of aggressive elements, but I think the approach Sunbird's Invocation plan is actually good in this matchup because it can go over the top of a deck that generally tries to go over the top of you. But the cheap removal is what's not good. So let's try to get rid of Abrade and Magma Spray. I'll leave in the Strike. I think Regal Caracal is good, given that it can contend well with our Promise. And maybe I want this Captain Lannery Storm. Just an easy way to accrue treasures, because they're not going to have a lot of early resistance. And that mana can really help me out, especially with how high my curve is. Okay. Don't think the sideboard is really built with a Bant ramp deck in mind, but I'll do what I can. And definitely cycling this cast out again. Just need to make a lot of land drops. But I think this is, with the way this deck is built, this seems like a keep. Looks awkward, is awkward, but part of this deck is being awkward. Just buying time until your engine can get online. I wonder if this Sunbird's Invocation shell would prefer to be Naya. Just so you can get some ramp in the deck. Okay, there's a land. And I'll probably cycle this other cast out. I just really, really need to make land drops. Yeah. It's not like trying to cast out these Gifts of Paradise is going to be at all effective, so... Man, I really wish Vance's Blasting Cannons let me play lands off of it. This is not going to be a particularly effective card given the way our hand is. Once again, I think I'll just plus. Don't think the emblem is relevant. We'll see if our opponent can get some threats out a little bit faster. They don't have a desert yet, so Hour of Promise this turn will not make any zombies. That's good news. They'll still likely cast it if they have it, because they're a ramp deck and it ramps, but it's just more Gift of Paradise. Really need to hit our 5th land next turn, but I'll play my thing, and I'll mush for 4. Was this getting Supreme Willed? That? Okay, negate, sure. That is fine. That was probably the worst card in my hand. Damn. Take 4. Down to 22. See what they can do with 6 or 7 mana this turn. Still haven't really seen what the payoff is here. Just Hour of Promise last game. All the Eldrazi are gone. They're blue, so the big dinosaur payoffs are probably not there. Maybe they have Carnage Tyrant. Hour of Promise, still no zombies, so we'll have a little bit more time here to find a 5th land. I think if I do hit the 5th land here, I'll play the Huatley first, because I might need to fumigate next turn. Ketra, there's an awkward one, but I can cast it, so I will. 3 other creatures. That might entice me to play Regal Caracal next turn instead, but we'll see what our opponent does. They don't have much, and we hit the 5th land next turn and get to attack for 10. We can Huatley the turn after that, use its -X, and get through some number of blockers to kill them. Making black mana. Probably just casting a white card? Okay, so they are also an approach deck. I see. Well, I hope you don't have a second one, because I can't really beat that. But I can threaten to kill you next turn. And yeah, so this attack will be for 10, and then our next attack will be for 17. That's lethal. Wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of fog in our opponent's deck, but what are you going to do? Tapping mana pretty quickly for colors that don't matter. This looks like a second approach. Yep. Well, our deck is definitely not very good against other approaches, so I guess so because we don't really go over the top of them, they're doing the same end game as we are. My instinct is to sideboard into the most aggressive version of this deck. So let's get these 7 in. Let's get these Fumigates and these out. And Gear Hulks in. And I guess we can just leave in 1 Invocation as a thing. Settle the Wreckage is also likely not good. At least the cheap removal lets us get through early things, mostly zombie tokens. So I actually will bring back in some of the cheap removal and play it that way. Maybe I just want another Abrade instead of this Invocation. Wish all these Abrades were Lightning Strikes, but I don't think we're going to actually have time for Invocation, and we've cut some of our high end, so the card is less effective anyway, so I don't mind cutting all of them. Yeah, we're just going to be an aggro deck here. As aggro as we can. I would like to play first. This is not a very aggressive hand. I was really looking for something with a Heart of Kirin or Glorybound Initiate. But is it a mulligan? It probably is. I can't disrupt their ramp game at all, and I can't really race it. We'll hope for something better here. At least this can maybe disrupt their ramping, and I can scry to try to find some pressure. Not a very good hand, but I'll keep it. There is a Heart of Kirin, so we'll top that and hope to find something to crew it with. Can find any Planeswalker. Lannery doesn't really do it very well, but I guess every other turn. Here's Heart of Kirin. Gideon off the top here would be ideal. How would you turn this into a 3-turn clock? Search for Azcanta. Okay. Oketra is not bad. That will crew the heart. And which is definitely worth something. Eventually, hope we can maybe set up a turn where we attack with it. No Gift of Paradise, please. Oh, they didn't tap for green, but they're stopping here. Yep. Feels very much like a misclick. Looks like Gift of Paradise. Okay, Spring. That one's much better for me. And Oketra. Bam. Time to get our beat on. Done. Mush for 4. Fortunately, it's going to take a while to get Oketra on unless we can draw a Regal Caracal. Probably take the next turn to Ixalan's Binding the Search. Search is pretty close to a ramp spell, although they haven't been feeding their graveyard well. Guess they've liked the top of their deck. Ooh, kept the card on top, but missed a land drop. That is interesting. Well, if they have something like Settle or an answer to hard cure, and they have it. I don't have any way to prevent that, so might as well just keep attacking and try to beat what I can beat. Okay. Well, I'm going to Ixalan's Binding that search so that they can't dig for more lands. I expect it to get countered, though. Probably Supreme Willed, but them using Supreme Will as a counter is also a way to deny them land drops. Not by not being able to use it as an impulse. Yeah, instead they have negate. So next turn we can attack for 4, bring them to 8, make a token, then attack them for 5, and lightning strike them. So that was the other reason for willingly using the bidding that turn. It didn't change my clock. But they found land 5. This is our promise. Yep. Well, that changes our clock. So that gets them, because they drew desert too as their land. They took a risk putting the Supreme Will in their graveyard, because that was more or less a guaranteed 5th land, but it costs them a ton of mana. A risk that they were certainly paid off for. And nothing much going on here. Yeah. I was considering running out the Lightning Strike right now, but I don't think there's a lot of value in holding it and getting it out now and letting them know what their effective life total is. I don't think there's much of a chance of them attacking with these zombies, knowing that their win condition is approach. They're going to be on a more defensive plan here, but if they do, I might be able to steal this one right now. They kept that one on top as well. This looks like approach. Yep. 15 life now. Yep, no attacks, as I expected. And no help coming here, so I will do what I can and hope I'm not dead. But they can, so they have 6 cards to, yeah, I have to kill them next turn, because they can Rivulet away 4 of them, mill 1 away with Search, flip it to replace the land drop, and then 2 draw steps, and that gets them there. So if they just mill whatever this card is, they have to Rivulet actually in response to it. I guess that doesn't matter, actually. Yeah, so they just mill whatever this card is, draw their next card, then there's 4 cards between them and the approach, and they can Rivulet, and then leave it on top, flip the Search. They didn't mill. I might just be dead this turn. But they're not tapping their lands super quickly. Not tapping their lands at all. So, how can I win this game? I guess that they can still kill me next turn by milling with Rivulet and milling whatever card is then on top and flipping the Search. So I'm dead next turn. I have to hope they have nothing and win this turn. And I think I win by Lightning Striking a zombie token, making a warrior token, and then drawing another removal spell. Getting the attack in with the Aketra. So let's do that. Lightning Striking first in case they have Supreme Will. It'll be fine for me to make the warrior token on my turn if I need to. But getting the removal spell countered ends this plan in its tracks. Ooh. maybe this will resolve. If they just have a bunch of negates, but then they'll likely just let me draw 3 cards here. Maybe I can draw a removal spell and kill them. Or maybe they'll be foolish and not let me draw. Well, they let me draw. And as a result, I believe I am dead. So why don't I accrue this? Looks like I'll be a turn short here. Drawing that desert on that one turn was pretty critical for them. Settle the wreckage. Yeah, I was going to have a tough time beating this one. Yep. And 4 basic lands. 1, 2, 3, 4. So many basic lands. Maybe I can... I don't know if there's a card I can bluff, but... Yeah, well, more than 1 turn short. I was well short this game because of that settle. Okay, Supreme Will does essentially the same thing Rivulet does. So they had a counterspell as well. Looks like I am very dead. Definitely not a matchup you want to play with your mid-range deck. But it is the one I have. Yep. That will do it. Well, sort of got tooled on in those last 2 games. Had I known or suspected their payoff was approach, which I guess I could have figured out if I really thought about it, I would have bet on the aggro plan in game 2 as well. Might have had a shot. As is, only got 1 game on the correct plan and did not have quite a fast enough draw. And they hit the desert on the key turn. So, hope you enjoyed watching that one, and you can come back and see me on Monday. Bye.